Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Ever wondered about the secret life of your seafood? Well, today we're diving deep into its incredible journey, all the way from the ocean to your plate. And trust me, it's a story packed with science, logistics, and some big choices that'll totally change how you see your next meal.
Just picture it. A perfectly grilled piece of salmon, maybe some shrimp cocktail. Looks delicious, right? But have you ever really stopped and thought about its origin story? I mean, what an insane journey it must have taken to get to you. That's exactly what we're going to unpack today. It's a tale of adventure, high-tech systems, and some really important decisions. So right at the start, every single piece of seafood begins its story in one of two places. Was it a wild adventurer, caught out there in the vast open ocean? Or was it raised on a carefully managed underwater farm? We're talking two totally different worlds here, and each one has a unique story to tell.
All right, so on one side, you've got your wild caught. This is what we all picture, right? Fishermen out on the open waters of our planet. But then, on the other side, there's aquaculture, and that's basically just a fancy word for farming, but for fish, shellfish, and even aquatic plants. It's all about raising seafood in these super-controlled environments. Now, catching fish in the wild isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. There are all these different methods. You've got trawling, where huge nets are dragged along the seabed, great for things like cod and shrimp. Then there are purse seines, these massive nets that circle whole schools of fish like tuna or sardines. For bigger fish, they use long lines, literally miles of baited hooks. And for critters like lobster and crab, it's a bit gentler. They use pots and traps. The method they use, it makes a huge difference, not just for efficiency, but for sustainability too. And you know what? Aquaculture is just as diverse. You've got these massive sea cages out in open water for salmon. Then there are these enclosed ponds on land for shrimp and tilapia. And if you want to get really high-tech, there are these land-based tank systems. They're called recirculating aquaculture systems, or RAS for short, that give farmers total control. And my favorite? The super low-maintenance shellfish, like mussels, that just hang out on ropes and filter their own food right from the water. Pretty smart, huh?
Okay, before we move on, we absolutely have to talk about a super important term in wild fishing, bycatch. So what is it? It's basically all the other marine life. Think dolphins, sea turtles, other fish that get caught by accident when fishers are targeting something else. And honestly, minimizing bycatch is one of the single biggest challenges for sustainable fishing. It's a huge reason why the specific fishing method matters so much. All right, the seafood is officially out of the water. And this is where the real race begins. A high-stakes, ticking clock race against time. The entire journey from here on out is built around one single, absolutely critical idea. And here it is. This is the golden rule, the mantra of the entire seafood industry. Keep it cold, keep it clean, keep it moving. Every single person who touches that fish, from the second it leaves the water to the moment it hits the store, lives and breathes by this rule. Why? Because with seafood, you can't get quality back once it's gone. It's a one-shot deal.
So let's walk through this journey step by step. It all kicks off at the harvest. That's the moment the quality is locked in. From there, it's on to primary processing, which is just cleaning, gutting, and filleting, sometimes right on the boat. Then comes the most crucial part, logistics. This is that cold chain we're talking about, a non-stop temperature-controlled trip to keep it fresh. Some fish might get a secondary processing step, like being turned into breaded fillets, before it finally lands at the store, ready for you to buy. I just love this analogy, a fragile chain of ice. Think about it. Every single step, the icy slush on the fishing boat, the refrigerated truck speeding down the highway, the chilled display case at the supermarket, every one of those is a link in the chain. If just one of those links breaks, if the temperature creeps up for even a little while, that clock starts ticking way faster, and poof, that amazing fresh quality is lost forever. And that whole incredible journey brings us right here, to the moment of truth, you standing in front of the fish counter. So how can you, the customer, tell if that fragile chain of ice held up? Don't worry, I'm going to let you in on the secrets.
Honestly, the best tools you have are your own senses. Trust them. If you're looking at a whole fish, you want to see bright, clear eyes, not cloudy ones. For a fillet, the flesh should look moist and have a nice, vibrant color. And hey, don't be afraid to get in there and smell it. Fresh fish should smell clean, kind of like a sea breeze. If you get a super strong, fishy or ammonia-like odor, that's a red flag. Walk away. And if you can, give it a gentle poke. The flesh should be firm and spring right back. And of course, seafood comes in all shapes and sizes at the store. You've got your white fish, like cod or pollock, which you'll often see as fresh fillets or big frozen blocks. Then you've got salmonids, salmon and trout, which are super popular as steaks or smoked. Shellfish, like shrimp, are very often sold IQF, which stands for individually quick frozen. It's actually a fantastic way to lock in freshness. And then you have things like squid or octopus, which you might find as rings or sold whole.
Oh, and speaking of shrimp, get ready for this because it's a wild fact. Out of all the seafood that's bought and sold across the entire planet, shrimp is #1 when it comes to value. That's right, that little crustacean is a global economic powerhouse. Who knew?
Okay, so now you're a pro at picking for quality, but what about picking seafood that's good for our oceans? That's where sustainability labels come into play. And trust me, they're way simpler to understand than you might think.
I get it. It can feel like a lot, right? You're trying to think about bycatch and fishing methods and farming practices. It's overwhelming. But the good news is there are some really trusted organizations out there that do all the heavy lifting for us.
So here's the deal. There are two main labels that make choosing sustainable seafood super easy. If you see that little blue MSC logo, that tells you your wild-caught fish comes from a fishery that's been certified as sustainable. And if you see the teal ASC logo, that's your guarantee that the farmed seafood was raised responsibly. It's really that simple. Blue logo for wild, teal logo for farmed. Easy peasy.
All right, you've done it. You picked a beautiful, high-quality, sustainable piece of seafood. But hold on, the journey isn't quite over. Because the final, crucial link in that cold chain, well, that's you.
Here's how you nail that final step. Rule #1, make the seafood counter your absolute last stop before you head to the checkout. Rule 2, don't be shy. Ask the person behind the counter for a little bag of ice to pack with your fish, or even better, bring a cooler bag from home. And Rule 3, this is non-negotiable. The second you walk through your front door, that seafood goes straight into the fridge.
Okay, here's a number I want you to burn into your memory. 2 hours. That is the absolute maximum time fresh seafood should ever be left at room temperature. And listen, if it's a hot day out, like over 90 degrees Fahrenheit or 32 Celsius, that window shrinks to just 1 hour. So yeah, head straight home from the store. No detours.
Now for storing it at home. Your best bet is to put your fish or shrimp on the bottom shelf of the fridge, because that's the coldest part. To really maximize freshness, you can place the container over a bowl of ice. But here's a super important pro tip. If you bought live shellfish, like clams or mussels, whatever you do, do not seal them in an airtight container or put them in water. They are alive and they need to breathe. Just pop them in a bowl and cover them with a damp cloth. That's it.
So there you have it, from the wild oceans and high-tech farms through that fragile chain of ice all the way to your kitchen, you are the final guardian of an incredible global journey. So the next time you look down at your plate, you'll know the secret story behind your meal. And the only question left is, what story will your next plate tell?